my bookish besties, and welcome back to my channel. In today's episode, I thought it would be fun to go ahead and discuss the books that I have been putting off reading all year in hopes to read them specifically during the fall spooky atmospheric season. So buckle in and let's discuss my fall TBR. First, and probably the newest addition to this list, is Immortal Consequences by Ivy Marie. I believe this is a debut novel. I got this in my book of the month, I believe last month, yeah, in August, so this month I guess. But I am really intrigued by this. About 6 people who are competing for their spot, like on an academic board, I believe. It just says 6 rivals, 1 victor. Eternity is only the beginning. I have heard recently, though, that apparently this is a Harry Potter fanfiction. I don't know about that, because who would the 6 people be? I don't know. But yeah, I'm really intrigued by this. I am trying really hard to stay out of other people's opinions of this, because recently Book of the Month has been picking stuff, and then people have been really tearing it down, and I'm just not a fan of that. And this is one that I think sounds really good, so I'm really hoping I like it. I saw a singular TikTok earlier about it, and now I'm scared. But I'm gonna give it a shot. It's really long, though. Well, not really. It's a little over it's 500 pages. Yeah, we'll see if I get to this. But it's definitely on my radar. Speaking of longer books that are on my radar, this is The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. This is another one that I've heard really mixed opinions on, but again, I really still want to read it. I really am curious what I'll think about it. I've never read a Joe Abercrombie before, but I'm really excited to give him a shot. And I think this one will be a good place for me to start, because I didn't know Pierce Brown has a quote on the back. That's awesome. Also, Brandon Sanderson said this was his favorite Joe Abercrombie. It's got deckled edges. The additions are just gorgeous. Like, look, it looks like a grimoire. Phenomenal. And then these are the back end pages. But yeah, I'm really excited. I believe it's about a band of misfits who come together to solve like a mystery. Ooh, there's art inside it too, guys. Oh my god. I've never flipped through this, to be honest. Actually, the art on the first page might have been the only art. But like, oh, this map is also crazy. I should have flipped through this more. Look at this art on the first page. Gorgeous. But yeah, it's basically about a priest who has been hiding like a band of demonic creatures, basically. Like, there's a witch, a vampire, I want to say like a sorcerer, and they all go on a quest to do something. But I've heard it's described similarly to stuff like Baldur's Gate and just some other forms of media I quite enjoy, so really hoping I'm gonna like it. I, like I said, have seen some negative reviews on it. I'm not gonna let those sway my opinion, okay? I am ecstatic to give it a shot. And this third book here, this is an indie book that I picked up recently. It is the Bombshell Devil's Advocate. It is by Nikita Bell. I actually met her, and funny story, my edition is signed, but she misspelled my name on accident, and I just think that's so funny. She was such a lovely lady. She and I spoke for a really long time, and she said she illustrated different scenes in the book because her best friend has, I can't remember what it's called, but it's wherever you like can't see images in your head, like when you're reading. So she illustrated it specifically for her best friend so that she could kind of see some of the stuff that was happening. So yeah, and these illustrations, they're just absolutely gorgeous. And I think that's really cool. Also, this naked hardcover reminds me so much of some of the art from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which, if you didn't know, is my favorite show. So really excited to give this a shot. It says 6 sunrises, 6 sunsets, 6 days. That's how long October Winters has to collect and deliver 1,000 souls. After a year on the run, Lucifer's white... I don't know why I can't read when I'm trying to like record these videos, but Lucifer's right-hand witch finds herself knee-deep in the tawdry? I don't know what that word is. trenches of Hollywood, seeking refuge in the neon-lit chaos to escape the consequences of her actions. But her immortality comes with a price, and the devil has come to collect one soul for every year she has taken breath. Anything less and she can kiss the world goodbye? Okay, this sounds really crazy. I couldn't remember what it was about a ton. I just remembered, like I said, I spoke to the author and she was so nice. I had to buy it and support. And this book looks like it's going to be perfect for fall. And if I remember right, she's about to announce a second book in this series. So really excited about that one too. This next one is one that I picked up last year on a whim during a shopping spree at Half Price Books. I will be honest, I got it because when I picked it up, I saw that it was signed and that sold it. Like, I was like, yeah, I can get it. And if I remember right, it was really cheap, especially for a signed book. And this is on my 25 for 2025 page. So Adrienne Young has a quote here. It says, "Clashing kingdoms, thrilling action, and an imperfect heroine make this book a must-read." And it says it's a debut. So, yeah, it's basically about a girl who, if I remember right, her, country, her kingdom, uses crows to fight, and she finds the last crow. Let's see what it says in here. In the tropical kingdom of Rodair, elemental crows are part of every aspect of life until the Aleutian Empire invades, destroying all crows and bringing Rodair to its knees. That terrible night has thrown Princess Anthea into a deep depression. Her sister Caliza is busy running her kingdom after their mother's death. But all Thea can do is think of everything she has lost, including her dream of becoming a crow rider. When Caliza is forced to agree to a marriage between Thea and the crown prince of Aleutian, Thea is finally spurred into action. And after stumbling upon a hidden crow egg in the rubble of a rookery, she and her sister devise a dangerous plan to hatch the egg in secret while joining forces with the other conquered kingdoms to ignite a rebellion. Clearly, I can't read any of the names in this novel, but I am really excited to give it a shot. I can't remember if it's a standalone or part of a series, but like I said, it is on my 25 and 2025, so I'm really hoping to get this read this fall. Going back to some indie love, this next book is How the Fox Runs by J.O. Ellis. This book, the reason I picked it up, I'll be honest, there was something about the aesthetic of this cover that reminds me of the Swan Princess, and yeah, I just needed it. Also, the author was like one of the prettiest ladies I've literally ever seen in my life, so I felt really impelled to buy her book. It was like she was a siren or something. But basically, this is about a girl who is in like an insane asylum. Or I don't know if it's an insane asylum. Yeah, it says an asylum for the criminally insane. But anywho, she was framed, she believes, for the murder of her husband. Or just her lover. I don't know who that is. But she's been framed and she's trying to get out of jail, out of this asylum, and try to clear her name. And she runs into some people along the way. And there's a sequel. So I'm really excited. I think it'll be good. I believe it is a mix of real life and fantasy. So really curious how this one is. I mean, this cover is just gorgeous. I physically can't stop looking at it. Next, I've got Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. This is her only adult book I haven't read yet, I believe, and I almost picked this up back in spring, but someone DM'd me and begged me to wait till fall to read it. So here we are, hopefully reading it this fall. If I remember right, this is it's like a murder mystery, like a cozy murder mystery. It says, with magic, murder, and prose that reads like music. So, if there's anything I know about Miss Adrienne Young, it's that she likes to write a magical realism, atmospheric, like moody read, and that is perfect for fall for me. I don't know tons about this one. It just says, with a quiet magic like wind on a spooky autumn evening. This is going to be perfect. It says ancestral magic, unsolved murder, and a second chance at true love. Oh yeah, guys. Again, this one's going to be really good. I believe I've rated her other books really highly, so curious to see what I'll think about this one. Next, I've got Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. This is one of those books that I've had it for quite a long time. I bought it, was super hyped to read it, and then just like didn't for some reason. So here we are. Hopefully I'm going to read it this fall or winter. I can't decide which season it fits better into. It basically says if you loved the Hogwarts library, you'll fit right at home in Summershaw. It says it's gothic, which is why it's making me think fall, dark whimsy. Yeah. It says raised as a foundling in one of Ostermere's great libraries, Elizabeth has grown up among the tools of sorcery, magic grimoires that whisper on the shelves or rattle beneath iron chains. If provoked, they transform into grotesque monsters of ink and leather. She hopes to become a warden, charged with protecting the kingdom from their power. So yeah, I believe this is a little bit of like a magical library situation. I don't know, when I bought this, the lady checking me out said this was one of her favorite reads like ever. So really, really hoping to get to this one this year. The next book on my radar is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. This is another one of those books where I met the author and she is just the nicest, coolest person ever. I love her signature. I think it is one of the prettiest signatures I've literally ever seen. But if you didn't know, Belladonna is basically a gothic, like, romance, murder mystery kind of book where this girl is, I believe she's solving a murder. It says 19-year-old Signa has been raised by a string of guardians, each more interested in her wealth and her well-being. More interested in her wealth than her well-being. And each has met an untimely end. Okay, this is actually not what I thought it was about. Basically, she is living with this family, it sounds like, and they start to get poisoned, and to outrun the murderer, like they are trying to murder her too, she has to align with Death himself. Yeah. This sounds really good, guys. I'm really excited. It says Sigma opened her eyes and Death was there before her, watching, waiting. I am really curious. And I've heard it's super atmospheric, super dark, super good. It's called Belladonna because it's got poison, and I just really excited to get to this one. Yeah, I feel like I'm going in mostly blind, and I am okay with that. Next, we've got Long Live Evil by Sarah Reese Brennan. This is another author that I met her, and when I met her, she asked me like what kind of characters I enjoy, and then she told me who in her book I would enjoy, and I told her my favorite character type was people like Damon Salvatore from The Vampire Diaries, and she literally wrote Team Damon in my book, and I think that's just such a funny interaction. I wish I could remember which character she said was like him. Yeah, I don't remember. But basically, this is about a girl. I believe she is dying. Yeah, she's dying, and she seizes the chance to live again in her favorite fantasy world. Basically, it says a tale for anyone who's ever fallen for the villain. It says, in this fantasy world, she discovers that she's not the heroine, but the villains in the Emperor's tale. Yeah. I've heard mixed opinions on this book, but this girl I follow online is like her favorite book of all time. She has like 70 copies of it, and she's read it probably that many times too. So I'm really excited. And like I said, just the interaction with the author alone like makes me super excited to read this. Also, this cover is just gorgeous. I literally saw this on a table at the convention I was at, and I was like, yeah, I need this, and I need to go meet that lady right now. So really excited to give this one a shot too. Next, we've got Gallant. Is that how you say it? Gallant? Yeah, this is a B.E. Schwab book. I've actually never heard of this one. I don't know. I don't know anyone who's ever talked about it, but I saw it at my local store for like $4, and I was like, you know what? Even though I've only read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and like a little bit of Barrier Bones in the Midnight Soil, I think I trust this one with my life. So I picked this up. I believe it is about a haunted house based on the cover and just like flipping through it. It says, all her life, Olivia Pryor has wondered who she truly is and where she belongs. Her only clue is a slim, battered journal. Her mother's journal full of entries that seem to show that she was unraveling, and drawings that look like blots of ink. Until Olivia notices a hand, a door, a bloom, and a skull. Then a letter beckons Olivia home, to Gallant, the one place her mother's journals warn her never to go. Olivia goes anyway, of course she does. What she finds is the last living relative and her family's manor. a manor with a ballroom and a sitting room and a study and a crawling, vibrant garden. And the crumbling ruin of the garden wall with an iron door, a door she must never open. But no one at Gallant had sent Olivia that letter, and no one will tell her what haunts her cousin's dreams, what happened to her mother, and what lies on the other side of the wall. Did the shadows call Olivia home? What will they ask of her in return? Okay, yeah, this sounds crazy, really spooky. Really excited to read this. I think it'll be relatively short too, because like it's just a little square, and some of the pages I was flipping through, some of the pages are literally like one word, and it has a lot of pictures. It shows like the ink. So yeah, I have not heard hardly anyone talk about this, so I'm really curious to give it a shot. The longer I stare at the picture, though, the creepier it's getting. So I think I'm gonna put that down now. Next, I've got Piranesi by Susanna Clark. This is one of those books that I am not going to tell you what it's about because I've heard it's best going blind. But based on what little I do know, I do think this would be a fantastic fall or winter read. So if I don't get to it this fall, I'm definitely going to read it over Christmas, I think. But basically, from what I know, it's about a guy who's in a house and crazy things keep happening. And I've heard it's one of those books that you don't understand until you do. So that's why everyone says to go in blind. But yeah, Piranesi. I've heard it's like one of the best books ever written. So I'm excited to try. Next, I've got Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This is one of those like must-read fall priority books for me. If I do not read this fall, like I don't know what to tell you, because I've been wanting to read this for the past like 5 falls, so why haven't I? I don't know. This is my best friend's favorite book too, so I'm doing myself a disservice. I need to just go ahead and read it. My dad has already read it. What am I doing? What am I doing? I need to read it. I love Leigh Bardugo. I will say I've heard this one's different than her other works, but I'm still really, really excited. This is about a girl named Alex, and she gets accepted to Yale. And when she gets to Yale, I feel like I have not read the back of this in so long. I keep reading stuff that's crazy. But basically, it says that she becomes the, like, watcher of a secret society at Yale. Okay, ooh, this sounds crazy. And I've also heard it is incredibly triggering. So look up your trigger warnings. I've heard crazy things about this book. But yeah, that's pretty much all I know, and I kind of want to go into it as blind as possible because I want to be as shocked about all the crazy stuff as possible. And I've heard it's going to be a trilogy. Supposedly the third one's about to come out soon. Oh, there's a map of Yale. Has anyone been to Yale? Is that the real map? Because I don't know. That'd be cool if it was. I don't think so, though, because this says Skull and Bones, Book and Snake. Yeah, I don't know about that. But yeah, I'm really, really excited to read this. I have to read this. If I don't get to this fall. And then last but not least, this is a newer release by Holly Jackson. This is Not Quite Dead Yet. This is her newest and her adult debut. Like everything else she's ever written has been YA. I am so excited to read this book. Basically, it's about a girl who like gets murdered, but she wakes up, like she gets bonked in the head, and then she wakes up and the doctor's like, you're gonna die, and she's like, who the heck bonked me? So she has to figure out who bonked her, who's trying to unalive her. So I think it's gonna be really, really good. I love Holly Jackson. She is one of my favorite like thriller, just like high-paced books authors. So I'm really, really curious to see how her adult debut goes. I've heard amazing things so far. I'm so excited. It literally takes place like on Halloween night. Uh-oh. I think I just saw a spoiler. I was flipping through and I saw like some pictures in the back that I don't think I was supposed to see yet. But this is what I was looking for. So yeah, it's set over 7 days and it starts like on Halloween night. So I was going to read this like the literal second it came in the mail. But I think I'm going to go ahead and wait and read it in September or October because the fact that it's literally Halloween, I'm like, this is the quintessential fall book, so it's a must. But anywho, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found at least maybe one book to add to your fall TBR. I'm thinking about still doing a traditional fall recommendations video, so if you'd like to see that, let me know down below in the comments. I am so excited for fall. In my humble opinion, fall definitely begins on September 1st, and I may or may not be biased in saying that, but I'm really, really excited for fall. Let me know what you plan to read this fall, and thanks again for watching. I hope to catch you in the next one.